about 12.5 inches to the bottom of the hitch right here. And so that is about 7.5 inches of total lift. And this... All right, so the video that I was going to make today is going to have to be postponed because my package didn't arrive. But I did end up picking up something, and I'm sure you already seen it in the beginning of the video here, but we have wheels and tires in the back of the Bourbon here. Huge shout out to Cody Stifler for hooking me up with these. But yeah, we're gonna do wheels, tires, and a lift kit for this. So again, I didn't want to go too crazy. I want this thing to still be practical. I know the wheels and tires are gonna be kind of big, and I know it's kind of gonna make it unpractical, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be hell on this 700 R4 transmission. But I've got to get these wheels and tires off of it because, well, the Denali looks absolutely terrible. So I want to get these wheels back on the Denali, get that to the dealership so I can get that transmission and ECU relearned, which you'll see that in another video probably. But I want to go ahead and get this thing all jacked up and ready and just enjoy this thing. So I don't know if I said it or not, but huge shout out to Rough Country for pairing back up with us. That's right, Rough Country is back on the team. I hate that it's winter time, and I don't know why I'm so, like, I always put my hood up. It stresses me out. I don't like it, but for some odd reason, I always just put my hood up, and I don't know why. I guess because I don't like the wind going down my neck. But we are partnering up with Rough Country to do the build on this. And again, we are just going with a small little 4-inch, and we're going to run 35s on it as well. So the other thing I wanted to say is the rockers here. I think what I'm going to do is end up making like kind of like rock sliders for the side. So instead of actually buying like real rockers for this thing, I think what I'm going to do is just trim them back to where they're good, put in like a little plate. I'm sure you'll see that in upcoming videos, and just sort of make this thing like kind of like an urban bourbon, kind of like I had that other Suburban that I called the Urban Bourbon. But I think I want to make this thing like cool and badass and take the roof rack. I've got a roof rack for it. You obviously see it has a roof rack on it. Put a bunch of lights and everything around it. Get some KC daylighters for the front, KC daylighters for the grill, and just kind of do this thing as kind of what it would be like in the 90s. The other thing is I was talking about painting it or wrapping it. For some reason, I'm big onto like that old school where it has like the stripe down the side here. I think that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to pull the trim off of here, and I think from here to here, it's going to get a color down through the side opposite of the color that the top is going to be. So I have that wrap actually ordered. I don't know if I'm going to wrap it here because it's cold, but if we do get a couple nice days, I will wrap this thing. But that might end up being a project for, I'd say, summer. The other thing I wanted to touch base on is the dents that we got from this thing while we were wheeling. I'm going to wrap over them. At some point, I did want to make this thing absolutely flawless and absolutely perfect. But the more I think about it, we're going to off-road it. We're going to enjoy it. So why not leave like these beauty marks on here? I think it's going to build character. It's going to make it look like it's actually usable. And yes, that car is absolutely ridiculously loud and annoying. Don't do that to your car anymore. But anyway, I think the scratches and the dents are going to stay. I don't think I'm going to try to go ahead and get any of these out because it just builds character and makes it just, to me, makes it feel more of a truck. Like, yes, this thing's a truck. Even though it's not a truck, it's a truck. So with that being said, I will pick back up tomorrow with the lift delivery and the new... All right, well, I've got a couple packages that we're going to get in here and get opened up. But first, I've got to get this Mustang off of the lift. I'm actually going to move it over here to this lift, and we're going to get the Suburban in on the lift. Before we put it up in the air, though, we're going to go ahead and take some measurements to see just how much this 4-inch lift adds to it. So with that being said, let's get everything flip-flopped around here, and I'll see you guys right there with the Suburban. I'll be honest with you guys, this is part of my problem. There's a pile, here's a pile, and there's a pile. And yet I was about to pull the Suburban in and start yet another teardown, another big project. Not that it's big, it should only take me a few hours, like a day's worth of work. But I always do that. I always start like, this thing's all torn apart, that thing's all torn apart. This I did not begin to work on yet, but this is about to be torn apart. The Suburban, I'm about to pull in and tear it apart without actually cleaning up. So what you just seen, maybe you should see it when you looked in the door there from that. But when I walked in here, I was like, man, this place is a disaster. I've got to get it cleaned up. So that's what I went ahead and did. It just took me like 2 hours to clean this thing. and get things organized. Obviously the vacuum, the jack, all that stuff was spread all throughout from jobs that I've done. We've got it cleaned up. Now we can pull the Suburban in and get started once I clean up these piles and get the trash to the dumpster. All right, so as you guys do know, before I couldn't get the tailgate down, but I found a way and I fixed it. So now we actually have a fairly functional tailgate. The handle still needs adjusted, but we got a tailgate that works. So here is going to be our wheel and tire combo for when we're off-roading. Big shout out to Cody Stickler. As you guys do know, I kind of like a little bit of sidewall. When we went off-roading the last time on this, it was absolutely miserable because there was no sidewall. But we've got some sidewall now. Obviously, we're going for more of like an old school look. So this tire and wheel combo is going to be fantastic for the Suburban. So with that being said, let me go ahead and get this unloaded. And then I believe we have packages here from Rough Country. So let me get these things unloaded here and I'll pick right back up with you guys. Alrighty, huge shout out to Rough Country as always. So what we went ahead and did here is we're going to just do a modest 4-inch lift. Again, I told you guys that I wanted to make this thing a little bit taller, but I didn't want to go too crazy. I still wanted to be able to like use it for function. Still wanted to be able to tow with it and still have some fun with it off-roading whenever we wanted. So this kit includes the 4-inch springs that you're going to need to obviously lift this thing in the air, and then the boxes are all the hardwares, the bushing, and then the front suspension. We also have a box over here that is a little bit of a bonus that you can get with these things, and it's going to be a steering stabilizer kit. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and now move all this stuff that I put here, get the Suburban on the lift, and we're gonna get started. Yes, I'm winded. Yes, I'm out of breath. Those springs are a heck of a lot heavier than you think. So with that being said, I'm gonna catch my breath first, move this stuff, get it on the lift, catch my breath again, and I'll pick back up with you guys. You guys can tell, I kind of want to get some measurements here. I threw my hitch in the back here just to see what, oh, I'm messing up big time, just to see how far we are. But we are about 12.5 inches to the bottom of the hitch right here. And let's go over here and get a measurement from the side to see how far we're going to go in the rear here. Sorry, it probably looks like amateur footage because I am an amateur. 34 3/4 to the rear here, and then we'll go to the front and go ahead, and this measures out, oh, I gotta go a little bit taller. This one measured out to just about 38 inches. So let's get started. It is 3:44 on the 14th, and again, I
find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again.
Really sure why the GoPro like shut off right there. Probably because it's pretty cold outside, but I've got the all right, well, I'm over here on the iPhone now because I don't know what's going on with the GoPro. Got it over here charging. Can you even see it over there? Yeah, so I don't know if it's the battery because it still says 60% battery, but who knows? The iPhone will just have to do. So I've got this side completely bolted on. I had to keep going because obviously it's heavy. I got this all bolted on. It's not tightened up yet. I still have some of this loose. This plate here is tight because I needed it to be shock still loose, as you can tell up here. Again, we are going to take care of that body mount. Don't worry about that. And then over here, I just want to show you guys sort of a little trick that I always use. It is a ratchet strap. So I was trying to figure out how I can pull this and get it down. So what I did was I went ahead and wrapped the ratchet strap around there and pulled it back. So now that that's done, the bolt is in, and now this side is ready to be tightened up. So I got to tighten up these here. I didn't start tightening them up yet. And then I got to get this shock off here and the new shock on. And then the rear is pretty much done. There is a bracket right here that I'm going to have to lift up. It's like an extender. So I will have to do that. I did end up breaking a brake line here. It is what it is. This side's obviously factory. That side over there has been done before, but we'll go ahead and get a new brake line on here and get this thing rocking and rolling. So the back is almost done. I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up. And they told me with a 4-inch, I didn't really need to extend the brake line, but I have a little bracket in there somewhere. I have no idea where it is. Right there. Bracket extension. This is me holding myself accountable because I am trying to keep this shop. I don't need it to be spotless. Like, I'm okay with spots. I'm okay with like work actually shining through, but I don't want it to be a mess. I don't want to be tramping on things. I want to keep it as tidy as possible. So the rear, I've run into two problems. The rear brake hose, as you do see, it did end up breaking on me. Trying to get this fitting out. It was my fault. I loosened this bolt, and I had it out, and I was wiggling it. And when I went to pry on it, it just broke this line here. So it is what it is. It's my fault. And this line over here broke. I went ahead and got the lines out. Right here is the one end, and I kind of tossed the other one. Actually, it might have got swept up in the mess, but I got the ends out of it. So tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and get what I need to get so that I can make brake lines for this thing. It doesn't matter. It was in bad shape anyway. But again, I want to go ahead and make new brake lines for this thing. I'm probably going to do that side too, just to be done with it. Probably going to get a wheel cylinder, but you can tell this thing is back together. The rear is super simple, as you guys do know by now. These bolts are usually a little hard to get out. I got lucky, both of mine came out. As you do know, you see me torching there, my front ones did not come out. If you don't follow me on Instagram, shoot over there now. Follow me at @send_Steve. You can see how these turned out here. These holes were perfectly straight and everything, and they went back together super easy. Same on the other side. You just bolt the shocks together. Shock goes in, and it is good to go. So what I'll probably do is extend that line there. These lines don't seem to be bothered. They're kind of extended from factory, and again, we only did go 4 inches on this, so it's not really a big, I mean, yes, it is a big lift difference, but it's not really a gigantic difference where you need to like stretch everything. So with that being said, I'm going to lower this thing down and show you the rear real quick, and then we're going to start on the front. It is a lot later than I thought. It's probably 7:30, 8 o'clock by now, but it is what it is. I should be able to get the front knocked out quicker as long as all the bolts come out. So I'm not gonna jinx myself, but let's see what this thing looks like down on its weight right now. Oh my goodness, did this thing go ahead and get massive on us. Again, I'm actually glad that I did not opt out for the 6-inch, but here you have it at 42 inches. I believe this measurement before was 34.5 or 34 3/4. And then the rear hitch was actually at 12.5, and we are now sitting at 20 inches. So that is about 7.5 inches of total lift, and this thing is massive now. So again, the front might change that a little bit. The hitch might end up being like 21 till we're all said and done. But I had to look at this thing. I had to see this thing on its own weight, and I am so excited to get started on the front. So let's go ahead and get over there.
Never really know what's going on. Look at me sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out.
The front is pretty much buttoned up here. I have to watch my GoPro time here. That's the only reason I started talking while the compressor was running. But the front is in, the springs are in, I've got the U-bolts in. The only thing you will have to do is in the kit, there's one long U-bolt here. So you'll have to use that one that's in the regular box. The other 3 will be in here, but this thing went together super easy, and the front came apart a little bit easier. I'm having trouble with the shocks, but I'll figure that out. And then I'm also having trouble with, I guess this steering arm, whatever you want to call this. But this thing is pretty solid on there. So I think what I'm going to do is soak it a little bit, try to get the shocks out, and then I'm going to have to beat on this again. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have to put heat to it, which I'm trying not to do because of obviously all the joints and everything. But I got to do what I got to do because obviously I drove this here and I need to ride home. So with that being said, stand by. Also, I found out that this is a dual shock setup. As you can see here, this is an add-on feature. So I think I'm just going to drop down to a single shock for now just to get this thing rolling, and then see if I can find a dual shock that matches in the future here. So with that being said, plug and chug. So as you see there, we've got the drop. I keep calling this like a pitman arm, idler arm. I don't know exactly what this is called. I think it is a pitman arm, even though I feel like that would be your pitman arm. But whatever this bracket is here, we got this tossed up. You can see there is a massive amount of difference there. And also with the dual shock setup, we're gonna find out that we're gonna run this bag here that actually comes in the kit for a single one. As I can show you over here, this is what I actually decided to do for now, is basically run this bolt through there, bolt it down here, and then bolt it here at the bottom. So that'll just be a single shock for now, and then I'll have to figure out how I'm going to be able to run dual shocks at a later date. Again, I only got one shock here, and the bolts I had to cut anyway, which I don't have bolts here. So it kind of works out in my, like, I guess in my favor, because we're able to get this thing back together. So I should only have about an hour yet, and then we can pick back up again tomorrow with a new brake line and new brake hose. So with that being said, sorry, it's been a long day. I'm exhausted. I'm beat. This is the most work I've done, like labor intense work that I've done in a long time. And it's definitely taking its toll on me. Plus it's cold now. It's probably like 10 o'clock at night. And yeah, so with that being said, I'm going to keep plugging and chugging and get this thing down on the ground, and then I will pick back up tomorrow. This is actually how I'm going to do it. And then this can slide in here and then slide there, and then I can tighten it down, and then there's your top, and then the bottom will just bolt into the factory location here. So it's a win for tonight, but we are going to figure this out because it will be cool with dual shocks in the front, and I'm going to figure a way to get dual shocks in the rear since we have them in the front. So maybe that'll be an entire separate video. The rear will be complete fabrication. The front will just be kind of bolting it in place with whatever kit this is. So with that being said, plug and chug. Holy wow. I have got to say, these springs were super clapped out, as you can tell, because this thing has really grown, and this thing is absolutely massive now, to say the least. I couldn't be any more excited of how this thing is. Obviously, I still got a little bit of a transmission leak, which I thought I fixed yesterday before I left the shop, but I'm going to have to redo that entire line, redo all that. It's just definitely getting frustrating at this point. The other thing is we're going to go ahead and put a dual steering stabilizer on the front here. Again, when I seen the leak, I decided I was going to clean all that up. Plus, it was getting late. I actually left the shop at 11:44 last night. Actually, it was like 11:50, almost 12 o'clock. So that gives me 7 hours I had into, you know, transitioning this into what it is. Now, again, it's not perfect. It's not great, but it is one hell of a start, and I couldn't be any more excited. Huge shout out to Rough Country again for joining the team as always. now it's time to test this thing out. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video there. Comment, like, subscribe, and if you made it this far in the video, say welcome back rough country in the comment section down below. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.